What's up, everyone? Saturday, February 4th, 2017, and it's time to go to work on music. And feeling good. Got some personal stuff, relationship stuff resolved last night, which always is a tremendous relief. And just opens up the bandwidth to enjoy things a little bit more. Not that you can't enjoy things if things are going south in other areas of your life, but let's be honest, it helps when things come together. So, feeling great. I'm in a good place. I'm finally making some good time to work on music. It's maybe not quite as much as I would like to do today, but I'm feeling good. I got the next few hours ahead of me, and I'm going to make the most of them. So, I'll talk you guys through the practice session as we go. I don't think there's a whole lot on my mind. Gonna hit some online classes, go deep on those because we've got some time. Gonna do some more drum work, gonna go deeper on that because we got some time. And then a big priority today is to move forward on the production front with this track that I'm really trying to get the groove popping. I'm really trying to build this track up from the bass level, like really do it right, make it perfect from the beginning. We'll see how I do. I'll share that experience with you. I'm sure there's going to be, I'm not sure, but chances are there'll be some stumbling blocks here and there, hopefully some breakthroughs as well. If there are stumbling blocks, and hopefully it just comes together perfectly. Sometimes things go that way. We'll see how I do there, but yeah, let's get it. All right, good class sessions there. Learning more. Just polishing off the bit width lesson, and the instructor introduced an artist from New York who makes one-bit music, which is freaking bananas, and it's really cool. Actually, you can just go to onebitmusic.com, like the number one, BIT music, all one thing. .com and check it out. It's pretty awesome in my opinion. I think it's really cool, conceptually awesome, at the minimum. Um, then I moved on to the Beinhard blog, just reading a little bit about how some of these people think that the decline of the state of music is a societal issue, and I'm gonna have to think about that more to really have an opinion on that. I mean, I don't disagree, right out of hand, but I don't know that I agree 100% either. Um, I tend to agree with this guy who posted a comment who was like, it's just changed. I was talking about this in a video a few days ago, like, just the role of music, the way music is consumed has changed, which makes sense given the technological changes of our society, and like, maybe we just need to make our peace with the fact that while the experience is different, it's no less impactful. And I think, I don't disagree that in the rock genre, there haven't been a tremendous number of great albums if you compare that with the 60s and 70s, but I don't know if that's a fair comparison because rock was a different genre, it was a different era, and the resources people had to make rock music were a little different. I mean, I guess he's talking about popular music specifically, so maybe the listenership for deep rock cuts, you know, isn't there. I don't know. Or maybe he's right. Maybe it's an artistic thing, but I think about bands like Carnival and Sky Harbor making great progressive rock. They're just not American bands, and I don't know if we can call them popular bands, but rock's rock wasn't always a popular genre. But anyway, that's kind of a deep rabbit hole of thought. Like I said, I'm going to need more time to form a good opinion on that. And then I was just doing some reading out of the Harmony Workshop book, awesome book, and just listening to some different grooves, getting my online account set up. And they were talking about how one chord expressed in different ways rhythmically can yield a really different effect emotionally and in terms of the story, which I thought was really interesting. I'm going to experiment with that a little bit and do some playing around with that on Monday when it's guitar time. For now, let's get into some drum work. I'm going to start by warming up without the computer, and then I'm going to introduce the computer later, which I did last time. It seemed to work out well.
and then I'm going to work my way toward just pretty much only playing with the computer eventually. But for now, I just want to make the transition gradually if and gently if possible. Then I'm going to get into a little bit of foot control exercises probably. So here we go.
Okay, that was interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that practicing plugged in all the time. Um, I like it in theory. In practice, it's a little bit weird. I'm gonna stick with it for maybe another few days at least, or another week probably, maybe a month. See if I can give myself a chance to get used to it. But practicing without being plugged in is sort of like practicing on a practice pad, and I think it just makes you isolate different things than you normally would if you're playing plugged in or if you're playing on a real kit. And since sort of the point of this is developing technique, not sure how I feel about that. But at the end of the day, what's the point of technique? It's so that you can express yourself. How do you express yourself? Well, you get the actual sound and vibe out that you want, and you can't really separate that from the actual sound you're using. So, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to pan out. But it's not surprising that it's just a big change from what I've been doing because I've never really practiced that way, ever. So, now that kind of makes sense, I guess. I just need some time to get used to it. I'm going to take a short break and then get into working on this track. Okay, what I'm doing there is playing around with some of the stuff I recorded late last year. Playing around with some settings, compression, basic EQ, a little bit of reverb, just like the basic stuff to shape the sound a little bit. And what I'm realizing is you want to record the sound the way it's supposed to sound, or as close as you can possibly get during the session, and you want to use minimum of that other stuff on the back end. Now, it's not that that other stuff isn't helpful. Sometimes you don't have this perspective that you want during the session, but your instrument should sound like how it's supposed to sound in the final mix. And if you can get that, you're good to go. I mean, you're setting the quality chain high from the beginning, and there's so much less work you have to do on the back end. If you cut corners early, you're going to have to pay for that later. So I'm trying to decide if I want to re-record what I have and like start the whole track from scratch, which I may want to do, or if I want to try to salvage what I do have and is it close enough to how it's supposed to sound. Now, it's not an easy decision. What I was doing there is tweaking a few things and sort of realizing I was getting tired and starting to lose my perspective sonically, and that's when I always just take a break no matter what. So what I'm going to do is listen to the track, maybe play along with it a little bit on the drums, see if I can change the drum part because I think the drum part honestly just needs to be way better. It's not like horrific the way it is, but it's not popping, and that's just not good. I mean, that's just a recipe for a track that's lackluster. So, want to make sure all the parts are locked up, and that probably means just re-recording the whole thing from scratch. But I'll see if there's anything I can salvage, and maybe what I did last year was just like demo quality, and that is what it is. So we'll do a little bit more on this, and then it's probably time to call it a night pretty soon. Alright, so as I feared and also suspected, it sounds like the original guitar and guitar part itself, which is sort of like the backbone of the groove, is problematic to begin with. It's not syncing up with the click the way it needs to, so that's probably a bigger, beginning the process of re-recording that is probably a bigger project than I want to get into in the next like 10 to 20 minutes, whatever I have left in my session, but that's good knowledge, and sometimes the truth hurts, and
I really want to try to be brutally honest with myself with this set of recordings and really make it the best it can possibly be and just set it to the highest standards, guys. Every time I let myself slip or I cut a corner, that's compounding for the rest of my career. Um, every time I do something great and I, set the bar high and I achieve that or come as close as I humanly possibly can to it, that's going to compound for the rest of my career also. So I'm kind of beyond the phase of just trying to get stuff done, which is sort of that was my attitude in like 2015, 2016. And I think that was good. That got me some momentum. It helped me shape my workflow, helped me just finish some things and get some perspective on what I was doing. And at the same time, I listen back to that stuff and I feel like, wow, that stuff is good. It has its moments, but it also has some serious issues as far as the quality chain goes. And I want to try to be really rigorous this year and erase those misgivings if at all possible. And I want to try to make something that really is representative of the maximum of my current abilities right now. Not just like a casual snapshot, but like really like, hey, I sat down and I did this the right way from step one. And that's partly making me think it might be time to write some new material because I don't know how I feel about this track itself, like the song. And that's problematic because I sort of rushed the writing of the song also. So that's like taking me all the way back to square zero, which is really like, what's the mess? Like, what am I even trying to say? And man, maybe it's really time to just scrap the whole thing and go back from ground zero. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit. I might end the session a little early here, give myself some time to just reflect on that. And I think that song is full of really good ideas. I don't know if I want to get rid of the whole thing, but what I might want to do is take the material and just really try to produce it the best way I possibly can. I really don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. But if you guys have an opinion on that, for sure let me know. I'm really interested. And yeah, maybe I need to go back and rewrite the whole deal. That's a tough one. But anyway, I'll come back on Monday and hit it hard and start to re-record that stuff at the bare minimum. Maybe start to rewrite. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to try to take myself to the next level to really push myself. And I think that's how I'm going to get the best results out of myself and the best results, period. And I don't want to come up with a great marketing strategy for a product that I think is just okay. I do not think that's what the world needs right now is just okay music. I think, what we can use as a society is real inspiration, real legitimate inspiration that comes from a real place of respect and understanding the level of commitment and energy that goes in to real craft, really making something excellent. And when we're talking about making something excellent, we're talking about going to the highest possible standards. And I can live with, if I put my best foot forward and it doesn't do anything, like I can live with that. But what I don't want to have to live with is like, man, I really cut some corners there and I wish I had just done it the right way and now I'll never know what could have happened, like I'm not about that. So it's a good realization. It's going to be a little bit painstaking possibly this year. And it's probably going to be frustrating, if I can't get things exactly the way I want them to be. But I have to try. I have to do whatever it takes to just make it happen. I think I have to go beyond trying, actually. I have to just do whatever it takes and suffer the consequences of that in the process. And I do believe it'll pay off if I can get it right. And that's where I'm at today. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know this is kind of a longer video, but shout out to you guys grinding towards your goals out there. And if you're stuck, if you don't have any momentum, it's time to go to work right now. Like, just stop whatever you're doing and just take the next step toward your vision. It doesn't matter how small it is, but the more that you don't do it, the more momentum you have in the direction of not doing it. The more you just do it, even if it's a little bit every day, that builds over time, compounds over time, like I was saying. And your intent, your attitude, and your action, it all comes together. And if we're talking about real success, we're talking about producing the highest quality results that we're capable of. And no one's going to judge someone who's, you know, bound to a wheelchair for the rest of his or her life for not being like able to dunk a basketball. But you might judge that person for not reaching the height of his or her ability given the cards that he or she was dealt. Now I feel like for me the bar is extremely high because I feel I have so much capability and I do have a reasonable amount of talent. I don't think I'm the most talented person out there, but I also have a lot of time and bandwidth to invest in this, and I feel like if I don't achieve great results, then like I'm pretty much the one who has to take responsibility for that, and I want great results, so I got to be honest with myself about what that takes to produce, and so that's what this is what it looks like right now. So yeah, just want to end on a positive note. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a great night. Be safe out there on a Saturday night if you're out there doing your thing, socializing. And I'll catch you guys on Monday. Till then.